simply the state needs to put more money into our public education system. We're anywhere, depending on the statistic you look at, we're anywhere from 44 to 47th in the nation for the amount of money Harrisburg, our state government, puts into our public education system. So we have been left with a system that is inequitable and creates a scenario where we are relying far too heavily on, local property taxes to be able to fill in that gap. So then you find communities that have higher incomes do not have the same struggles as communities that have lower incomes. I personally live in the Norristown School District. It is a school district that is completely underfunded in a way that, is similar to the Philadelphia School District and a couple of other school districts in our state. And we talk about this fair funding formula, and that's all well and good, but only a small percentage of that money goes through the fair funding formula. So we're not really getting, our fair share necessarily. What we need to do is just really infuse more money into our public education system and to ensure that our schools are able to address building issues. I mean, think about what's happening in Philadelphia school districts. The Philadelphia School District has buildings that are that are grappling with getting rid of asbestos. Like that means that there are children and teachers that have been going to these schools for ages that have asbestos in them. So we need to make sure schools have the funding to be able to address that, to ensure that they have the infrastructure that they need for electronics and for Wi-Fi, and for children to be able to use new technology and new books, and make sure children have access to new books, and it's not old books that people have to share. And we also have to make sure that we are fairly paying our teachers. In a lot of different places, teachers don't, in Pennsylvania, that the starting salary for teachers is real minimum. Like it's poverty level type payment. And considering the importance, I know I can tell you, I can name a teacher, at least one teacher from every level of schooling that I've been in, that had an impact on me and has helped me get to this point in my life, whether I knew this is where I was going or not. And I'll actually kind of give this fun little shout out. She probably won't even realize this. Mrs. Fenley, my 5th grade teacher, I actually saw her at our, county party endorsement ceremony way back in January, when we could still be around, people at that time. So seeing her there, and her and I recognizing each other and being able to reconnect. And I just remember loving her class and really enjoying being there. So I've got that connection to teachers, and I want our teachers to be, fairly paid for what they're doing, so they don't have to go out, and make sure that they have the resources that they need, so they don't have to go out and buy crayons, and they don't have to go out and buy paper or books or, tissue boxes, all those different pieces. I know so many teachers in public schools who continue to buy those things for their classrooms because their school just doesn't have the funding for it. And I want to do it in a way that we ensure that we are not taking from one community to give to another community as well. So when we're talking about our fair funding formula, if we put all of our money through that as is, just at the amount that we're funding now, you will find that there are schools that will be severely harmed, both out in the Pittsburgh area as well as within my own district. They would lose a lot of funding, and I don't want to do that either. So in order to bypass that, we need to put not just all of our money through the fair funding formula, but then increase the amount of money that goes into the fair funding formula, and we're investing into education. And that will ensure that all of our schools are getting an adequate amount of money from the state to be able to provide the education. And the other pieces that many people don't know is this efficient education. I forget the exact phrase, but in our state constitution, it is a constitutional right here in Pennsylvania to a fair and efficient quality public education. And we are not providing that. You simply need to go to the Philadelphia public school systems, or here in Norristown, or, there are others that we know have problems with funding. So we need to do our constitutional duty and provide for that as a state legislature.